and welcome to another Fixed Ops Roundtable After Dark show. We have some amazing people here tonight, including the wonderful Ted Ings, who's going to take it away to introduce our guests.
Oh my gosh, Sophie, thank you so much. This is the parts panel coming up from the next Ford Stock event, everybody, in September. It's the new Mindset parts panel with Nick Gianake, who's here tonight from Kengar Ford, literally at Kengar Ford in Greeley. We are live tonight, by the way. Jeremy Stevens is here with us from North Carolina. The birthday boy, Shawn Parrott, is here from his new digs in Salt Lake City, Utah. We'll hear about that. And Ellen Haney with Jeff Schmidt Automotive Group in Ohio is here. Welcome. And so, Sophie, we are live. I got to see the comments already rolling in from Ken Dunner and Roger Conan. All right. So Ken always has something nice and flattering to say. And and Ken, we savor the flavor. We absolutely do that. And Roger, I'm going to see you tomorrow on my marathon day as we approach the close of the big Fixed Ops Roundtable event. So David Lucas is here. Sophie, we got a lot coming up. I see you're all dressed up for Ford Stock.
I am. It's coming soon, Ted. It's less than a month away. Can you guys believe it?
When? Okay. What are the dates?
It's going to be September 18th through 21st. You guys do not want to miss it. You can get your tickets at fixedopsroundtable.com.
Super. And you see the lineup there. A few of the folks you'll recognize, Ed Roberts, Sarah Van Tyne, the great Tully Williams is on there. Jordan Cox is in the chat tonight. And Sophie, you had some trivia coming up for us later today, right?
I do, which hopefully if y'all have been tuned in the past few weeks, we're getting warmed up. So got some tougher questions tonight. Stay tuned.
The trivia, Ellen, has been going really well. And I'm hoping that between everybody here tonight and on the chat, we get to talk about that a little bit. So exciting. So Ford Stock, 21st Fixed Ops Roundtable. Nick, we had a big panel that we recorded yesterday for the event about the new parts mindset, and grateful to all of you for being on that panel. I thought it went extremely well. And Nick, what were some of the things we talked about? I mean, there was all kinds of topics on there.
Well, basically, we talked about bringing in recruiting new candidates for parts. What we're going to do with our inventories, how we're going to vamp up for sales or accessories, or just moving on from that point.
I love it. Jeff Bogaski is in the house. Good evening, Jeff from Affinitive. Ellen, you put together a lot of the panel questions. What are some of the thought and reasoning behind it? Because you had a wide array of topics.
I really was just trying to kind of vamp up and kind of get some different ideas of what other people are thinking about when it comes to the parts departments. Right now, I'm, at least in our area, we're seeing a lot of newer, younger parts people. And I'm just kind of interested to see what goes into the whole mindset of what it takes from a upper management perspective.
You and I were talking in the green room also about a lot of things happening. And I know you handle the Nissan product there, among other, products as well. But talk to us about the importance of customer convenience, because we're talking about all these mobile solutions now going out to the customer. But I think really the word convenience is behind a lot of what's happening. What do you think?
Yeah, right now, I think just as everybody changes and moves forward, since the industry is kind of being slingshotted into technology, it seems like that, our general manager went to the Nissan, I guess you would call it, conference in Las Vegas last week. And they were just kind of talking about integrating more of a mobile type of service as well, kind of like what a lot of us are seeing in the Ford brand and stuff like that.
Yeah. And Shawn Parrott, I think you're probably seeing some of that too on the Mercedes side.
Yeah, the Mercedes is, I think they're just as much as Ford pushing mobile services. They're already cutting down on the frequency of visits. And I think what happens is customers just don't want to leave their house or leave their business. But I mean, the thing about mobile service people don't look at, it also cuts down on your expenses. You don't have to worry about loaner cars. You don't have to worry about, promise time sometimes, you don't have to worry about the customers in the waiting room. You don't have to worry about all those things. I think that's why they're pushing it. It's convenient for the customer, and it's also convenient for the dealership.
So you are at a new location now in Utah.
Yes.
And tell us about this, because this is a standalone Mercedes-Benz Van Center. I don't want to steal your thunder. You tell us what it's all about.
So I work for, we probably have, I know we have the longest emails there are, but I work for Mercedes-Benz Van Center Warner. So it's owned by the Warner family. We're basically just a few minutes outside of downtown Salt Lake City, but we are a standalone Mercedes-Benz commercial dealership, only one in the nation. So all we do is commercial vehicle sprinters and a few Metruses out there. We have a very good campus. So the thing for the customer is we do anything from sell vehicles to fleet, sell vehicles to your van lifers. We have a full rental service that just don't rent, like I said, they rent to van lifers. If you can fly in, you don't have anything but toiletries and you're changing clothes for the weekend, we can put you in a van and send you up to the mountains. You don't have to worry about bringing anything. If you buy a vehicle, we can do the wrap, we can do the upfit. If you want Ranger shelves in it, we could basically do everything here. Where a lot of dealerships, they're only going to do the basic repairs, warranty repairs, things like that. Then they're going to sublet it out to a company which they can't really control for any accessories. Like we also just signed on with Agile Off-Road, which is a huge upfit, which a lot of Dodge Ford dealerships, that's what they do. They make a majority of their income off of accessories. Where Mercedes dealerships, you'll get floor mats and a cargo tray or a basic carrier or something like that. Here, we can do it all. We can make your dream vehicle happen.
And Shawn, this is new because I mean you're already a longtime award-winning parts manager for Mercedes-Benz, and you came here. I had no idea there was such a thing as a standalone Mercedes dealership that sells just the vans. And we had a panel recently about service clinics, and you're doing one, I understand, tomorrow.
We are doing one tomorrow, and we're doing it the right way. We're not bringing people in to just try to make money off of them. We're opening up our dealership to our customers. We're going to do some clinics with our technicians about, certain things to look at before you take a road trip, certain things such as how to change my tire, how to maybe look at see if a sensor or something's clogged up. We're going to bring different panelists in from some of these upfitting groups to show their products. And then we're gonna feed everybody. But then at night, we want people to feel comfortable. We want people to see this is how we do business. We open up. They have a chance to talk to us. They have a chance to talk to the technicians, and that's what we're doing tomorrow evening.
I love it. Jeremy Stevens, good evening. You're on quite a few panels here for the roundtable, and I think maybe even one or two more coming up.
Oh yeah, having a blast.
So you have a lot going on too. You're in the leadership space now. You're mentoring with the John Maxwell program, and you're running the dealer group in North Carolina. Tell us all about your world.
It's just that, I'm excited. We have our first leadership conference here in October. So if you're around North Carolina, drop in, and, if there's some interest, we can do it virtually too. So I'm excited about that. And just love being on these panels. Shawn's already inspired me. He was the first guy that talked about Google reviews for parts guys. And it just, that was the last panel. So it kind of got me. It's like, what, everybody needs to be customer service, and, and parts is an important part of that part of it. So got a lot going on at the dealership, ramping up on inventory, like what we were discussing. And, we opened a custom shop up. So we're doing plate is full right now, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's all great. And parts, Ellen, is getting more attention than I think it's ever gotten before. There's a big light on parts. I think the panel that we did yesterday is going to be on the first day of the roundtable, I hear. And it was so good. And I'm really excited about all the things that we've got, Ellen, to talk about. And Ellen, what's new also in the world of Jeff Schmidt Automotive Group? What are you guys working on?
Right now, we're kind of just working on getting some new technicians up in there, especially when they're getting ready to revamp and kind of maybe go down that other route that we were discussing earlier about the mobile service and stuff like that. We've had a couple guys move out of state and kind of start new things. So we're just trying to refill back up, and we're holding on as strong as we can.
Yeah. And Nick Gianake, you and your brother, Sean Kingery, have had a lot going on at the roundtable as well. I understand there's a segment coming up. I think we have still yet to film it, but you guys are going to be doing that together for us. So
looking forward to it.
You know Sean for a long time. Tell us about how that came about.
Me and Sean go way back, past life. So, good friends. He's a great mentor. He's coached me along the ways to give me advice, and, brought me on here with you, Ted. And it's been amazing journey, and look forward to the growth We both parted ways from our past employment, but we stay in touch daily. So
now you're in Colorado, he's in Wisconsin, and a few weeks back I spoke with him, and he said that you were visiting. You were actually over there on a weekend.
Yep.
Explain that to us. Tell us how that came about.
Oh, basically, we were just wanted to see each other and reconnect because it had been a few months, and just hooked up on the weekend. Made a weekend flight out there, the wife and I, and we had a great weekend with our friends.
And you both worked in Florida, was that right? Or
yes, sir. We both worked at the same company in Florida. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was a big dealer group, and you've got great parts knowledge there as well. Shawn Parrott, I do mean that. We have more and more focus now on parts than ever before, and Tully likes to say that parts sells hours, and Shawn, that's true, isn't it?
Parts sells hours. I mean, that's Tully's saying right there. For those who don't know, like Tully Williams, that's what we sell hours. If you're open 8 hours, you have 8 hours to sell. And every hour, I think they said, is at the end of the day, you make about $70 in part sales, at least for every hour you sell.
The hours are, I hear, the most profitable product, or one of the most profitable, that a dealership sells. And Tully says it's all about the hours. So Tully was on a panel earlier today that we filmed for the September Ford Stock event. And I want to show everybody a little clip on that. The panel had to do with EVs, which is a little bit off topic here tonight. But we had some big names on that, equally big names. We have Brian Kramer on there from Cars.com, and AccuTrade, Steve Greenfield, whom we see everywhere now. Ed Roberts was on there. Fred Forden was on there. And the topic came up as to how's it going with EVs? Because, Shawn, in California, I think Tully told us Sophie, I think 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 vehicles is an EV. Does that sound about right?
I see them all the time, so it sounds right to me.
So we had a panel on EVs and how that's going about, and I thought it was interesting. So I want to show this clip tonight, and it's a brief one, but some interesting things were said. See if you can recognize some of the names on here.
See, automakers are saying, look, if one of the big resistors here is that we've got charging infrastructure issues, and 1 in 5 chargers don't work in America, what's the path of least resistance? Let's go to the charging network that does work, that's got 18,000 locations already out there, and that there aren't complaints around. And I think that's done it. But it'll be like the standards that we've all lived through, going way back, VHS versus Betamax, or who's going to own the digital camera. Any of these standards wars, we're going to see play out in real time here, and there will be some ugliness and messiness as a result.
Brian Kramer, let me come back to you as a follow-up if I can. Were the OEMs a little bit too ambitious and perhaps overestimate demand on EVs?
Well, I think there's 2 things that nobody took into consideration, or maybe didn't take enough into consideration. And I think one of them is the learning curve for dealership associates to be able to make the transition. I'm talking frontline associates, advisors, salespeople, to be able to learn EVs and be able to not switch customers back. I mean, you see it in sales where if a used car salesperson greets a customer, they're going to talk them into why they should buy a used vehicle. And if a new car salesperson greets a used car customer, they're going to do the opposite until my leasing makes sense or whatever. And I see the same thing across the whole country where everybody's, why do you want EVs? Kind of like what we used to do with hybrids, right? So I think that's the first thing is the education. Whereas if you go into a Tesla dealership, for instance, or a Lucid dealership, that's all they know. And that's, they're there to really to educate, not to persuade. And the other thing is the volatility with used car values and trying to take these things in on trade. The management, I don't think, was prepared enough for that. 60 days is way too long. You can't take that into consideration. There's a whole different strategy involved with that. It's so volatile, and they can just change MSRPs. And next thing you know, there's a ripple effect throughout the whole, and it goes from 30-day market day supply to a 216-day supply overnight. And I think it's something that's not talked about enough.
So Ellen, we talk about parts inventory and used vehicle inventory, and the discussion, which I thought was fascinating with some of the names that were on there, and how, they were free to talk about what their thoughts were and where the EV market was going. They were concerned that when a manufacturer drops the MSRP by $10,000 on a particular vehicle, how that affects the entire used car market, how quickly it affects it, and the ripple effects all the way down the line. And I never heard this group talking like this before. And it's just interesting to hear how, the market continues to change, right? So, and Nick, that's one of the things our industry is great for, right? There's a lot of change going on.
Oh, a lot of change on the industry. Absolutely. We're looking forward to what we can learn from on the part side of the EV.
Yeah. So are any of you having experience there on the part side of EVs? And if so, if we didn't have time to talk about it on the panel yesterday, but if so, if you want to share some of that with us tonight.
Very, very little from my side. So
really?
Yeah.
Okay. I know California is the big player. I think Florida is like a distant second, okay, in terms of EVs. Sean Parrott, by you, anything there?
I mean, I see a lot of Teslas. I think Tesla has a strong foothold on this market here. When I was at passenger cars, Mercedes, we'd get them, but they didn't move much. I know with Sprinter, they're coming. We just got notification from Mercedes today with buyer guides and dealer ordering guide and stuff like that. But other than seeing them, I mean, we see some of the Rivians and things like that around. I haven't had any personal experience with them as of yet.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting how it continues to roll out. Jeremy, anything on your side?
Yeah, the only thing we've experienced is, we got 2 Chevrolet stores and with their EVs, our parts, we had to prepare for that. We had to buy bigger forklifts, and now we got these big battery boxes, these wood boxes in, places, and, you're already tight space and you got the EV equipment that you got to bring in. So it's kind of, having to restructure a lot of things, give everybody a little bit more room working on this stuff.
And the charging infrastructure, Jeremy, is expensive, right?
It is. And the tech, like we did an addition at our Chrysler store last year, and the technology was changing so rapidly that we had to do a lot of changes in the planning, and it was just crazy how fast the technology was growing.
Yeah, I hear that around the country. Nick, Shawn told me in Florida, some of the costs for some of the dealerships, because there were many, many brands there, right?
Yes, sir.
The cost for outfitting some of those stores with the EV infrastructure, mostly the charging units, the rapid charging units, was extremely expensive, Nick.
Yeah, you're exactly right. But you also got to remember the installation part of it and all the wiring and with the electrical contractors that are coming in, how much they charge for that. You hear about how much the units cost and the charging spots cost, but you never hear about having to set your dealership up for the infrastructure side of it. That's crazy outrageous.
Now, help me, everybody. Is it Tesla cannot sell at an actual dealership? Is that correct?
I believe so.
I believe so, right?
Yes.
With the state
I
laws
think it varies by state, but you have to have, most states you have to go through a franchise dealership.
Yeah, and that's where the OEMs have had the hold for a long, long time. Michael Weldon, good evening.
Yeah, the forklifts are, I didn't realize how expensive forklifts were. When you start, you had to have a certain weight class, and, especially when you lift it out the truck, it has to have a certain weight class at the second phase of the forklift and stuff. And I was sticker shock. I was like, oh my gosh, even the used ones were like $20,000-$30,000. And it's wild.
Jeremy, I think I've seen that in some of your TikTok videos, right? The forklift. Right?
Yeah, that big orange forklift. And I'm already having to tear up some asphalt because the thing weighs so much, it's ripping up asphalt. We're having to put more cement around the parts department.
So, Sophie, you got 2 big names here on TikTok for automotive. Jeremy Stevens below me here. And in the chat, Robert Migliaccio at Carter Myers is huge on TikTok as well. And Jeremy, both of what you do a lot of videos in the shop. And that gets a lot of attention because there's a lot of technicians in automotive. In fact, if you search hashtag automotive technician, it's extremely, like, tens of thousands of them, Jeremy.
Oh, yeah. I'll come up with some video of some great leadership speech and nobody likes it. But if I put one of a Jeep Wrangler, I have thousands of views on it. But yeah, the with cars and videos and guys working on them, it's very popular. And, it makes it fun. And that's what our industry needs is the behind the scenes of what it really looks like. And, it's been great doing that.
Yeah. So you see, Sophie, we're all learning the TikTok space ourselves. So.
I'll have to get some inspiration from you guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to visit Tully and his shop, so before I go, get some ideas for some videos I can do on there.
I think Tully's going to have you do some while you're there, actually, in Sacramento in his shop. So I think that's part of the plan as you head up there. So, Ellen, are you on TikTok yet?
I have a TikTok. It's mostly a couple videos of my dogs, but I mean, other than that, I'm kind of just on my For You page, just flipping through some stuff.
Yeah, Robert, I think you're right about that. Okay, they're very, very fun, and it's a whole new outlook on our industry, right? These 3-second views, these short views. Tony Owens is on TikTok. I don't know if you all know that, but Tony has started a TikTok page, and he's been running a lot of reels on Facebook very successfully as well. So interesting to see, Shawn, how all this marketing is playing out in the automotive with the new wave. So, and Shawn, it's your birthday as well.
Oh, it is. And to feed into, we kind of spoke a little bit on when we recorded the show, is these are things that when you mention that the younger folks are replacing the older folks in our industry, these are the cool things like Jeremy's doing to keep these people engaged. That is cool. It's not the stuffy old parts departments that, we kind of got used to, that we all worked into when we began. That, you gotta kind of get with the ages nowadays. You got to make it fun. You can't come to work dragging yourself every day to sit in a dungeon for 8 to 10 hours for the shop too. You got to have it fun. You got to have the young people engaged and make it look fun.
Hey, did you hear what Shawn said? He called me young, these young TikTok guys. So feel good.
That's pretty good, Jeremy.
I take it.
Sophie, how long have you been on TikTok? When did you start?
I've been on TikTok since the start during like COVID times. I feel like that's kind of when everybody got on there. We all started dabbling in 2020, but that's when I started on TikTok. Going off what you were saying though, Shawn, I just want to comment on your guys' industry as a whole. I think it's so cool how y'all have adapted as opposed to just being like, this is annoying, the young people in their social media. Like instead you guys are creating content and you're using that to your advantage, which I think is awesome. Yeah.
We're kind of envious sometimes. I kind of wish we had this back when I started 20, 30 years ago,
Yeah.
We didn't have all these cool things. We just came to work every day, punched in, did our job, and punched out, So for them to have this and make it enjoyable is a different, because for us back then, it was just a job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're making it fun. So Nick, no pressure, but we're thinking maybe a TikTok page from you sometime.
Oh, I haven't even got into TikTok, so that's one thing I haven't done. But it seems like that's what's going on for the future, and I'd like to surprise my team with that. I think that they would get involved and have a blast.
All right, so we have some trivia coming up in the show now for the Fort Stock event, and we're all going to get to participate. There's some multiple choice questions. The people in the chat can participate as well. Sophie has developed it. I have not looked at them. I think Michelle helped, right, with some of the graphics.
She did. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. All right, so Ellen, Michelle McLean.
Oh yes, I love Michelle. She's so much fun. I follow her on all over Facebook. She's just very inspiring.
Isn't she really? Yeah. So, yeah, and she's really done a lot with this Shawn Butler giving back and donating, and we'll talk about that before the end of the show again tonight. But Sophie, if you're ready, I'll bring up the first trivia for tonight.
Yeah, I think it's if you guys are ready.
Okay, here we go.
The first question is, which 1960s cartoon character coined the phrase yabba dabba doo? Was it Fred Flintstone, A, Scooby-Doo, B, or George Jetson, C? What do you guys think?
That's the easy one.
That's an easy one. A.
Hold on up.
A.
A. I go A all the way. Yeah. See if anybody in the chat has some answers here.
Robert got it wrong. He's the first one to get it wrong.
Oh goodness.
Robert, really? Scooby-Doo? Really? Oh, the same Scooby?
Oh, sorry, Robert.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Good one, Robert.
All right. What is it?
Y'all are right. It's A, Fred Flintstone.
Okay. Yeah. You grew up with Fred Flintstone. All right. That was an easy one. Are the others going to be as easy or no?
Oh no.
All right.
What was the average cost of a loaf of bread in the 1960s? A, 90 cents, B, 20 cents, or C, 50 cents?
I'm going to go with B.
I'm thinking it's a low number like you, Nick. Yeah. I'm thinking it's really low.
I'm thinking C.
I'm thinking C too.
It's B or C. I'm going to put my money on B because I think things were really inexpensive back then, but that's all relative, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Michael's saying 20 cents.
Varying answers.
Yeah, we got a lot of different answers.
It's
Mhm.
definitely not A. I know that.
Yeah, y'all are correct. It is B, 20 cents, which inflation is real because looking at bread now,
Go look at bread now.
But there's only
Just
probably
yelling at
white
gas.
bread back then. I don't think they had wheat bread and all these
Right.
different flavors.
We didn't
they
have all
now.
that stuff, right?
Yeah, it was just
Probably got
probably
a whole
pure
loaf
white
back
bread,
then, too.
you know.
Mhm.
Unless you went to the bakery and had some specialty breads, but there was no real specialty stuff like it is today. So
Like Ellen said, it was a real loaf of bread back then, not a parcel loaf.
A whole loaf.
probably double the size or more.
Right.
And it went bad in 2 days.
Right. Good point. Yeah, and it did go bad. Yeah, quick.
Question number 3. According to the 1960 Census Bureau record, what was the richest city per capita in the U.S.? A, Detroit, B, New York City, or C, Los Angeles?
Man, that might be tricky. That might be A.
I'm going to go with A.
I think
Yeah,
I'm
back
gonna go
then.
with A.
Back then in the 60s, A.
Yeah.
See, I'm looking at this saying, okay, Sophie grew up in A, Detroit, but she lives in C, Los Angeles. So I thought maybe she picked one of those because she's from there, but you could be right on that, Detroit. I think it's A or B. I don't know. Anybody else in the chat? What are they saying?
No, we're not saying much.
Everybody got scared.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it did.
it is A, Detroit,
Yes.
Oh, wow.
which I was surprised by that as well. But
Detroit, the richest city per capita. Wow.
I was just thinking of the B3, the car makers, because they were.
Yep. That's where I was headed.
Unemployment level is probably extremely low.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. All right. Fort Stock, 1969. All right.
question number 4. Which of these popular bands sold the most record albums during the 1960s? A, the Beach Boys, B, the Beatles, or C, the Rolling Stones?
I'll go
I
with
think
B.
it's the Beach Boys.
Nah.
Tyler. Okay. A or B?
I'll say B.
I'm gonna say B.
Ellen,
I got
B.
A.
yeah.
Give him a second in the chat.
What would Detroit
Hey.
be today?
David is saying
David, you're saying A? Okay.
It is B, the Beatles.
Jeez.
Beatles were big. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not a big Beatles fan. My friend was, but I was a little later in the 70s. But all right, yeah, okay, Jordan.
Did you
yeah,
see what
keep it-
George asked him about this? Ted Inc. and the Backstreet Boys.
Okay, and question number 5, the final question is, which of these products was invented during the 1960s? A, super glue, B, the hovercraft, or C, Kevlar?
I'm going to go with A, super glue.
I'm gonna go with A as well.
Yep. I think super glue.
I'm going to follow the crowd
I'll
and
go
go
with
A.
B. I will B. I like the hovercraft.
Jeremy,
I think it was later, but the hovercraft. But
So actually, well, I'll give him a minute in the chat. Let's see.
could it be C? Really? I don't know.
David also thinks it's A.
Okay.
We got a B.
But we got a hovercraft guy. I like it. Jesus is saying C.
And Jesus is actually correct.
Oh man.
It
Wow.
was Kevlar. Yeah, super glue was invented in 1942, believe it or not.
Oh,
And the hovercraft was in the 50s.
oh,
Who knew?
right. All right. Well, we got the first one right. Yabba dabba do. All right, everybody. So this is the new parts mindset panel. You're going to see them on day one on September 18th at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. It's the Ford Stock event. A lot of folks are dressing up. I know we have a best dressed contest. I think Tully is going to be eligible for that as well. When's it coming up again, Sophie?
It's going to be September 18th through 21st. It is fully virtual. You can get your complimentary tickets at fixedopsroundtable.com. You don't want to miss it.
Yep. So the signups are coming in hot and heavy right now, everybody. So if you haven't already, fixedopsroundtable.com, you want to get your complimentary ticket because the agenda is going to be announced here just before Labor Day, and we're going to have all that out. And you don't want to miss what's coming. Got a lot of special features, products, and a lot of great swag coming with the roundtable as well. So everybody, thank you tonight for being here.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Glad to be here.
Yes, thank you.
Nick, you
Happy
stayed
birthday,
late
Shawn.
tonight, and Sean, yeah. And happy birthday, Sean.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Shawn.
Thank you again, everybody.
Yeah, and Jeremy
29.
Stevens, thank you for all you're doing. And Ellen, and
Thank you for having me.
and Sophie, great stuff. So looking forward to more. All right, so everybody, we will see you next week. We have shows on Monday night and on Wednesday night, and we'll see you here at After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Right on.